Friends, happy Halloween as I am filming this October favorites on 10/31, and I realized as I completed my makeup look, I am giving goth 90s with a little bit of lumberjack. You're welcome. And maybe like a Claire's accessories moment, a homage to the store that I had frequented regularly as a preteen. But these chokers are from Adina Eden. A huge thank you to them for allowing me to try some of their pieces from the Shop My platform. I'll make sure to link these chokers down below. It's like a tier below Kozak in my opinion, but I think a suitable gift for like teenagers, whoever doesn't want to like invest in jewelry but have something nice, you know what I mean? And of course, the rest of my makeup details will be down below, as well as will be included on this list. But I have to say, before filming, I thought about the fact that I have filmed like, of course, the Sephora sale that just began today, the Beautylish gift card event. There has been a lot of beauty rounding upping, and I felt like, okay, I'm having a little bit of beauty fatigue, and I would like to speak about other things besides makeup. Although I do have plenty of makeup on this list, I wanted to share a few lifestyle favorites that have just been tremendously helpful in enhancing my productivity, helping me focus, and those are specifically my Amazon Basics rolling desk chair and my Colorluxe mobile standing desk. I purchased them both during the recent Amazon Prime Day event that went on for a few days, and the reason why I bought these pieces is because at Nay's apartment, I don't have a place to work, and it's fine. And what I used to do was sit on the couch, not great, sat on a soft chair, not great either. And the dining table, not really a dining table, is more just another space to put stuff on. With a high chair that's not comfortable to sit in the first place, and the chair to table ratio, not ideal to work on. And I said, okay, I don't want to interfere or impose on him, but I do realize that not having a desk or something to work on, something more supportive to sit in, is not ideal, especially because when I'm editing 2 hours at a time, sitting in a sofa 2 hours at a time with a laptop propped on your pillow is not ideal. It's not ideal for me or my body. And I just wanted an intermediate solution as I am looking farther ahead, investing in a desk like I have the one here. This is a fully desk, the standing one that goes up and down, and it's on the smaller side compared to standard sized desks out there, but it's perfect for my smaller space, and it's on wheels. Because something I notice when trying to navigate work in smaller spaces is if you can have your furniture on wheels, that is probably the best layout scenario, because if your space serves multiple purposes, to move everything around is just far easier in terms of changing the space as you need it as the time goes without having to lift and put, which can get cumbersome. Therefore, I wanted to find a small desk on wheels. I wanted the work chair also to be on wheels, and I decided to buy these two items. Again, the Colorluxe mobile standing desk is not the most luxurious piece of furniture that I've ever owned. It's just practical. It now allows me the opportunity to actually have a desk to put my laptop on, my mobile keyboard and mouse pad, and I could work in a more comfortable manner and just get through my editing faster and not have to fight through the resistance where if I didn't have that set up and knowing I have to sit on the couch for like 90 minutes to 2 hours is not great. So that's why I bought these two. And again, in the future, I would like to invest like on an actual wood top and maybe a slightly larger desk. And the dimensions are 18 by 25 by 30, so 30 inches wide. And it's not big, but that's on purpose because I didn't want a huge desk in the living room, just something small enough that I can work on and I could just go in my little corner. And the decision to not have armrests on the chair, I was back and forth about, because the chair I'm sitting in now is from Branch. It does have armrests, but sometimes I do recognize how nice it is to not have those restrictions. And on my Amazon chair, I'm able to like sit cross legs, put my leg up here, my leg up there. It just allows for more freedom of movement because I get quite fidgety when sitting at any type of desk for long periods of time, and where I can now move my desk and move my chair, move my legs here, move my legs there. It just kind of decreases the bandwidth requirement to do the work that I need. And again, I would like to invest in a better constructed desk, but not too bad for $67.99. That's how much it cost during the sale, and now it's $75.99. It's not super expensive, and again, it's not like the highest of quality, but it serves the purpose. It even has like a little hook to put my headphones on. You know, it can't go wrong with that. And the Amazon chair, it's soft. I love the mesh material on the seat as well as on the back. It has nice give and it's soft. It's perfect. I love it. I also have this Yasonic 3-tier rolling cart because when I go to his apartment and I bring my stuff, I just need something to put my stuff in. My charging cords, my journal, all in one place, again, on wheels. And now I've created my little section of work and productivity that I can go in, have everything nearby at my disposal, and it's just less chaotic. It just makes for a less chaotic setup and makes me feel more inclined, more encouraged to do my work, if you know what I mean. Sound off below if you're going through the same thing I'm going through, that you had to remap, reorganize your workstation. That will actually encourage work. And also during the Amazon Prime event, I bought the Roost laptop stand that at the time I was able to get it for $69.26, but now it's back up to $89.95. And you're like, why is this thing so expensive? And my apologies for not having it on hand now. I realized that I left it at Nay's house, but it is a portable laptop stand that I actually found on like a travel video where they listed their favorite things to buy from Amazon or wherever to travel with, the essentials, if you will. And I like the idea of a portable laptop stand because I do like my laptop to be propped and it is collapsible. That was the number one appeal about this purchase choice. The fact that it collapses into like a small stick stand type of a thing. You could put it in its sleeve. You could adjust the height of the stand, whether you want the laptop to be high or low. The drawback is the base of the stand, despite how high you prop it up, takes up a lot of space. And on my little 24-inch desk, it takes up a big portion of space that doesn't leave much room for my keyboard in front. And why I return to propping up my laptop on a yoga block, because the yoga block takes up less space than the Roost laptop stand. However, I didn't return it because if I go to Maddie's house or any other desk for that matter, that's not as small as the one I have at Nay's, I could still use this laptop stand. I think it'll be helpful, although I can look at the return threshold and see if it's not worth keeping, because it's one of those things, you have a theory in mind and when actually in practice, either most of the check boxes are filled out or under. So I kind of have to decide if it's something worth keeping. But I did end up ordering another desk stand. I'll just put it up next to me, that I think the base is smaller. Probably should have measured, but whatever. And it rotates. A feature that I like because, again, when maneuvering in small spaces and things just having to move with you, right? Because you're going all over the place. I think it is quite helpful for my laptop stand to rotate, because the one that I have now rotates as well. And I found it tremendously helpful when working in the room. So we'll see, and I'll keep you updated on that. But I like my little station. I just have to share because I thought about it for a long time, decided if I wanted to go the more expensive route or just kind of just enough to bridge the gap. And yes, it's just enough to bridge the gap. I will still like to research for smaller desk solutions that are higher quality, still on wheels, of course. I was looking at Uplift Desk, and unfortunately, like the smallest desk they offer is 42 by 30. I'm like, oh yeah. Because the one I have is in the 30s, and they do have a round desk option with a 36-inch diameter. I don't know how I feel about round desks, like circle desks. We'll see. I would have to see it and kind of like not use it in person, but just see it in person and kind of get a better gauge if I'll be comfortable working on a surface like that. So I'll keep you updated, but for now, we're doing good. Pistola. I also bought my Pistola Mandy Shacket. If you don't know, I've had my eye on this piece for months because it was on the Pistola website for $198, and I knew it was going to go on sale and it wasn't going to fly off the shelf because it wasn't flying off the shelf at $198, okay? So I was waiting in the bushes, and just when the Amazon Prime Day event was about to end, like a few hours out, I received a notification from the app to say that the Mandy Shacket, one medium available, for $138, and I was like, I gotta do it. I have to take a chance. So I did the payments just in case I wanted to return it. But you could check out my video where I tried it on and I asked if I should keep the medium, and it was an overwhelming yes. The medium works because it does run on the large side, but I do appreciate not only the oversized cut, but just the larger fit, because I like to wear my flannels underneath, or if I wanted to wear something thicker, I could and will still feel comfortable. It's fantastic. I mean, I've been wearing the heck out of this jacket. I love the snap buttons, the fact that they're down the whole length of the shacket, the breast pockets, as well as the wrist cuffs. I love the wash. It's like a light medium type of a wash with a light fade. Ooh, it's so fantastic. And it does feel almost like a coat because of the medium, but I like to wear those oversized pieces, and great to layer over something else, and I don't feel claustrophobic. Just happy that I waited. And actually, it went on sale on the Pistola site for 30% off, which I think places it around what I paid for when purchasing it from Amazon. I'll make sure to leave the link down below, because if you love denim shackets like I do, I would take a look. There's also another shacket on there, not quite as long as the Mandy, is a darker wash. It sits a little higher, but I'm thinking if I purchase that in a medium too, if it would kind of hang lower, maybe not completely past my hips, but maybe just where my tush ends and the hams begin, I might consider it. Ideally, I would like to try it on, but I'm getting greedy because they did put on that specific shirt for like double sale. So maybe they'll do it again for Black Friday. And if they do, and it comes down to like $50, I don't think I could ignore that. I'll also check their return policy, but if I remember correctly, a steep sale like that is usually a final one. So I'll have to decide if it's worth the gamble, but I'll keep you updated on that. AKC Artist Kit Company, ran by my friend Van, who I had the pleasure of meeting on a refer trip years ago. And here we are when he decided to start his makeup artist company during COVID, and it just took off. And his philosophy is straight to the point, no frills, organized makeup kit supplies that help makeup artists streamline and downsize to edit their makeup kit so it's not heavy and cumbersome, especially if you have to travel here and there. So he creates these supplies to make that process faster, and the main portion of his brand focuses on the depanning and putting makeup into his palettes and the metal pans, and that's a service in it of itself. You could drop off your makeup or you can mail it in with the instructions, and he'll do that all for you and puts that on full display on his Instagram. And Van is like the dad, like the snarky dad, and if you have an opportunity to visit his studio, I think you'll have to let him know if you want to stop by, because his studio space also doubles as photography and video space. He's a riot. He's a riot, and I know he might sound grumpy online, but you just have to be aligned with his sarcasm to get it. And he is truly a phenomenon. The way he has built his brand from nothing and has just solidified and established his aesthetic in such an impactful way is beyond inspiring. So I saw him after years and years with a fellow subscriber friend that we went to visit his studio, and I picked up a few things. His little palette that he was so nice to put his cat sticker on, and unfortunately we couldn't see the cat because he wasn't there, but maybe I'll plan another visit so I could see this cat in person. But what I like about these smaller palettes is how tiny they are. They're slim, but they're, again, straight to the point. They have the magnetic base. If you wanted to do your own depanning, you can, and just buy the aluminum pans and arrange the colors as you like. But I bought this specifically for my Natasha Denona pans because her palettes are magnetic. And if I don't want to take along the huge 15 pan palette, or even the recently released texture tone palettes that are actually smaller than her 15 pan ones, but still on the large side, I could take whatever Natasha Denona pans I like from any of her palettes and put them in a slim little one like this, or I can even custom make shadow and blush and highlight if I want it, because I'm sure I have blush highlighter singles in my collection that are removable, can plop them in this little palette and be done. I also bought the larger, longer one because I needed something to put my Louis Vuitton singles in, and that's exactly what I did here. So now they're safe and sound whenever I want to swap the shadows in my beautiful Louis Vuitton compact. In addition, these little spray bottles, Van was kind enough to add an extra one so Jen and I could have 3 each because it's 5 per bag. But when I squeeze this bottle from the display, the mist on this plastic bottle, because you might see that it's plastic and you have those implications like, the spray is gonna be okay. No. Van told me that he went through like 20 iterations before he got this pump spray mist density right. It's phenomenal. So if you're looking for a solution, as I did, because I wanted travel size bottles to put my hairspray in, my face spray, and what I call the pit spray, they're fantastic. The mist is so fine. This is one of the finest mists I've ever felt from a plastic pump bottle. And I know they're 5 per purchase, but listen, you'll find a use for them. Put them all over the house. If you put alcohol, if you like alcohol over the house, whatever. If you like to travel and you need the smaller, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out, or have a friend join in on the purchase and split it. Whatever it is, but I just implore you to visit his site, to visit his Instagram. He's fantastic. Again, despite his grumpy vibes, he is a kind, incredible human being, and I'm so happy to have met him before the brand took off and after he has established his brand. So I just wanted to say, and he knows this because I saw him, but a huge congratulations to him, and I'm happy to now have been finally a customer and to share his products on my page, which he didn't tell me to do. I felt inclined to do because I love his products and truly believe in his brand, especially if you're one that likes to depan and customize your makeup collection and take total control as to how you want to store your makeup and arrange it. AKC, baby. And I know I just ended with makeup artist supplies, but we're gonna hop back into clothes for a moment. The Ruti Ultimate Barrel Leg Jean 2.0 in indigo. I actually dedicated an entire video to them because Ruti is on the Shop My platform and they were kind enough to offer an opportunity to try one of their clothing pieces. And since I've been on a huge denim kick, I decided to try their barrel leg jean to kind of get a feel of their style and the cut. At first, I didn't like them, I gotta say, because I wasn't familiar with the material. It was on the stretchier side. I had to order a size 4. I'm usually a size 6. So I'm like, is the size too small? But no, it kind of feels loosey-goosey already. I love them. And actually, my mom loves them. When she saw them, she's like, I like those. I'm like, well, I did good then. So the thing with these jeans, when it dawned on me what I need to do, how to style them, and I explained this in my Ruti video, is that I needed to roll them up so they sat a little higher on my ankle, and they are a fantastic Chelsea boot jean because the length just drops far enough where the boot ends on the ankle, and it just has like that carpenter kind of boyfriend feel about it, but the leg shape is a little rounder than a lot of my barrel leg jeans that I have in my wardrobe. And also the seam near the calf is cool and adds a nice design element to the denim. And again, you could see these in action in that video, but I wanted to add these on the favorites because I have been wearing them and they definitely grew on me. And let me know down below if you have that piece of clothing that when you wore it at first, you liked it, but you just didn't style it in a way that truly enhanced and highlighted like its contribution to your style, right? That just kind of added to your aura. Now that I figured that out, I love them and they are comfortable. I do wish the crotch was, or rather they were a little more high-waisted, but the mid-rise, I understand, can feel more comfortable because it doesn't sit as high, and when seated, it doesn't feel like your torso is being crushed, right? So, and in addition, the stretchier material does make them comfortable to wear, especially for long periods of time. So if you want to check these out, by all means, but they are expensive, so maybe not buy them right away, because I think we might be approaching their Black Friday event soon, or they'll start hinting at what they'll offer for discounts on their site and whatnot. But I had to plop these on because I'm wearing them now and they are great. They are. I don't know if I'll purchase more. Well, I am curious about other Ruti items on the site, like their everyday pant, like their work pant with the material that's a little more technical. I'm interested in trying those. We'll see. I would love the partnership to flourish and for them to offer another opportunity to possibly try on some more of the clothes. So we'll see about that. And hair, we have a hair favorite for October. This is the Camille Rose Naturals Rosemary Water Daily Strengthening, what does it say here? Daily Strengthening Mist. And the reason I bought this is because I wash my hair weekly, but sometimes I do feel a need, a desire to refresh my scalp. And I have read that rosemary water, peppermint, they do contribute to hair growth. Now, I'm not going to say that it causes hair growth. I'm more comfortable saying that it could encourage it, but not that I'm in pursuit of growing my hair. Although I think the fact that I leave my hair alone after twisting it is a huge contributor to its growth and it not breaking and snapping as much because I just keep my hands off it during the week. I do feel it's nice for my scalp to have a little more of a refresher during the week to maybe offset the dryness and the itchiness that can occur. And the scent for the rosemary water mist is delightful. It has that herbaceous profile that's not overwhelming, too perfumey. It's like earthy and nice, and there's a little bit of like a cooling sensation because of the peppermint oil in here. It doesn't burn, right? But it is nice to have that cooling sensation on the scalp, especially if it itches during the week. And I also apply this when I'm twisting my hair after I wash it and get on with the dew. That's the mousse that I use for my twist. I'm on like my 10th bottle. I'm not even kidding. I don't bother using any other mousse because it's just goated in detangling, smoothing, and providing just enough hold and shine for my twists. But now I added this step where partitioning my hair, I'll spritz in between and get it on the scalp. I'll follow up with the dew mousse. And during the week, if I needed a little more refreshing here around the hairline or on my scalp, and because my hair is twisted, my scalp can get product easily because it's exposed, I'll just spray this on, not only on my scalp, but also on my twist as well to get a little more moisture and maybe a little more shine. If I have to refresh twist on the side, I'll use some of this as well. So this has been a great product. And generally, Camille Rose Naturals is a solid line. I've used them on and off for years. And every time I try a product from their line, it's either fine or fantastic. I haven't tried a Camille Rose Naturals product that's like, right? It's worked out in some way, or I'll find a role for it in my hair routine. But this is great. And they have sublines in the brand, meaning they have something for like the coconut water and their primary line with the pink label. I'm not entirely sure if they're more rosemary water types of products with the green. I'll have to double check. But if you're wondering about my hair routine, I don't share much about it is because it's been simple and the same for like the last year. Essentially, I've used the same Royal Oils Head and Shoulders shampoo, the same Aussie conditioner to detangle, the dew mousse for my twist, and now I just added this, the rosemary water. That's it. That's all I've been using, and my hair and it's thickety thick. I gotta get a trim. It is beyond due for a trim, and I need to find a stylist who will blow out my hair first. I don't want a curly cut because curly cuts don't get the ends, since the priority is to shape the hair, not necessarily get the ends, right? So need to find a stylist. I have tried to cut my ends on my own and it's fine, but it's a lot of work. I don't see what's going on. I don't have the right tools to get that straight blowout that you can see the ends. You can see the frazzled ends that need to go. And unfortunately, I haven't gotten my hair straight in a way that reveals that easily, right? Because unfortunately, when I blow out my hair, the ends still are a little curly. And curly ends look the same whether they're split or not. So that's the next thing on the agenda. But love the Rose Water Mist from Camille Rose Naturals. Brushes, brushes, brushes. A huge thank you to Bisyodo for sending me some PR, and I have a Bisyodo brush dedicated to those selects, especially this micro crystal fiber brush with the dark and the light fibers. It's the Cruella de Vil brush, as I affectionately refer to it as. And the fact that it has a slant and it just feels phenomenal when I apply my foundation with this brush. And again, the selects Bisyodo sent are exquisite. Totally and utterly. Everything from the 24 karat plated brass ferrules to the rosewood handles and the shapes of these brushes. And I also have to mention how Sonia was so kind. Thank you to Sonia G and Beautylish once again for sending me the new Essential Minis, as well as her mini soft brush book. I just can't tell you how delighted I was to be sent this complimentary, because I have both Kiyaki sets as well as the Kiyaki Niji and the Kiyaki buffer. Yes, I don't have the Kiyaki sheer buffer, and I kind of want to buy it because to have it in the Kiyaki handle and the shorter one, and to fit it in this brush book. So I was able to fit both the Kiyaki Niji and buffer, as well as both volume sets for the Kiyaki line in this brush book successfully. And I'm also able to put her small brush towel that only exclusively available with her Tissue Voyage set. So if you buy the Tissue Voyage set, you'll receive this little towel complimentary, but I fold it in quarters, so I'm able to fit it in the zippered pouch inside, and it closes beautifully. There you go. Look, this is so small. It's not as small as the Rae Morris. You want me to get the Rae Morris? So the Rae Morris is definitely beating it in terms of size, as well as technology, because this entire unit is magnetic. And of course, if you want to see this in action, you can head over to my Beautylish video. But you have the metal frame and the brush heads are magnetic. So you could place this at any portion of the frame. You can get more portable than this. And yes, this is far more limited than what I have available to me with Sonia's Kiyaki set, right? But I'm able to get a full face done with the Rae Morris Travel Set for sure. There has to be a little more strategy involved, but listen, if you want to prioritize your luggage space, your bag space for other things, and need to take away from the brush part of the pie, this is expensive though. This is in the 500s, whereas the Sonia brush book and maybe like 1.5 of the volume sets, even the brush book and maybe like both Kiyaki sets, you'll have more brushes and a larger bag. But it's really up to you and your brush priorities. The Mini Essentials Oval Hybrid and Mini Essentials Soft Concealer. So the soft concealer was already in her Fusion set that released years ago. But this is unique because, as you can see, the handle is shorter than the standard length handles. And we have the entire spectrum of Sonia's Sheer Buffer series series. This is the sheer buffer that released first, followed by her mini buffer, and now we have the oval hybrid, which I would say is between the mini and the standard. The standard is fantastic because if you want that all over sheer lay down of coverage, or even like that wider wash of a liquid or cream blush product lay down, sheer buffer. Or with the mini buffer, since it's smaller and just feels stiffer by default because the bristles are shorter, maybe for the Dior soft filter blush, fantastic pairing. Or like a stiffer product, like the Final Surgeons products that are in the pans. This is a great brush to pick up something that's a little stiffer and tougher to pick up. The oval hybrid, in between, because it's not quite as short as the mini buffer, but not quite as long as the standard. Maybe a little bit, but because the brush head is smaller, it doesn't feel as large and as comprehensive. It's a great in between, and I use it today actually to apply what I have and will be revealed later on in the video. It feels fantastic, not only for foundation application but for blush, anything, cream, bronzer, contour. If you wanted to get a little more precise, probably the mini buffer is going to get into the hollows tighter than the oval hybrid, although with the oval hybrid, I suspect, since it is oval, it's going to be more precise just by default because it doesn't cover as much surface area as once as its sheer buffer counterpart. And the soft concealer we've seen in the Fusion series, but now with the smaller handle, is more travel friendly in terms of size. And the soft concealer, my gosh, one of my most favorite go-to Fusion brushes when that set released years ago, and it's fantastic for that whip-like effect under the eyes for concealing, blending, and application. Again, it just has that movement on the skin that's lovely for more light to medium coverage. It's not a brush that you would necessarily use to pounce on product, but to move product in a sweeping fashion, especially if you wanted to get portions of the face that needed a little more coverage but didn't want to overwhelm it with makeup. So yes, if you were thinking about getting this set, and yes, it's PR, I was sent it complimentary. If you have Sonia G brushes, you know how S tier her sheer buffer series is. Ever since she first released the original sheer buffer, it has just caused cataclysmic waves in terms of my enthusiasm levels towards my makeup collection, because you know how people feel about liquid cheek products, liquid whatever. To have something like the sheer buffer series just come in and take over, like, we got this, your makeup application will never look better. That's what the sheer buffer did, and still it continues to do. We haven't even gotten to the makeup portion yet. I'm scared. And this is my video. I want to keep this as brief as I can because many of these I have already went over either in my beauty list video or what I recently uploaded, my Sephora recommendations video. So let's start with the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Yummy Skin Mist that many of you had asked about. And if I were to compare this, well, hold on. Unfortunately, the only spray I can compare it to is what I don't even own anymore, is the Hourglass Veil Mist that I can't even recall what that product roll was. I don't think is as blurring and soft matte finish-ish as the Danessa, but what the Danessa mist does, I think it's more of a finishing mist, again, to leave behind that more blurred effect on the skin versus it exclusively being a holding spray like what you see from, I mean, I don't know, does anyone use the Urban Decay All Nighter spray anymore? Or the One Size spray that I found has decent reviews and people use for makeup longevity. This is more so to refine the skin texture after everything has been applied. And for that alone, this is a great spray. It doesn't have any fragrance, it feels lightweight, and I think by default, since it does contain the Upslide technology, which is found in her Blurring Balm products that combats excess oil and sweat, because it has an impact on those skin conditions, your makeup won't break down, right? Because again, it is keeping that from coming to the surface or wreaking havoc when they do reach the surface. Everything Dior and more. I have a dedicated video looking at their holiday collection. I won't bore you once again, but one of my most favorite holiday collections that released this year. I've used everything that I've purchased, from the quints, the blushes, the highlighter, the liquid highlighter, both these guys. This is my favorite one. I definitely use this highlighter more than the Glow Maximizer. The Glow Maximizer is a party. All right, it does have larger glitter particles in the formula, so stay far away from this if you don't want to look that festive on the cheekbones. If you still want to be festive but a little more demure, this has more of an overlay, lightweight crystal effect on the skin. You see that translucent base? Whatever you decide to layer this on is going to give you that, okay, but in highlighter powder form. These are truly the stars of the show, the liquid lip duos that have that beautiful sparkle effect when you rub your lips together. By far, my favorite color has to be Acrobat, because this is so grungy, and I just did not expect Dior to release such a grungy brown. Magic is gorgeous. Illusionist is beautiful, is a rose color that, again, with my rose mauve moments that I have in my collection, and it being a liquid matte, one of the more comfortable formulas that I've worn, and that sparkle effect. I wore Acrobat at a conference and someone noticed my sparkly lips, so I'm quite happy about that. And I gotta mention, which I would like to still film a dedicated video with, but the recently released Jane Iredale Colorluxe Liquid Blush. And you're like, how can you recommend this as a favorite? They're still in the box. I've kept the boxes but still use the product because I've just been wanting to film with them, and therefore wish to present them in, you know, the unboxing fashion and all. But listen, I picked up Bombshell and Cinnamon Girl. Shout out to Heather, once again, looking out for her terracotta sister, because she had mentioned at the time before these blushes release that Jane Iredale was about to release a terracotta hued liquid blush. And let me tell you, the slightly red hue just makes it versatile and easy to wear, and the texture is phenomenal. I also picked up Bombshell. This is like a strawberry hued liquid blush, and it's beautiful. It kind of gives a similar effect to what you see here, which again we'll reveal when we get to that portion. And I will still film, if not a full-length video, at least a short, so you can see these in action, right? You can see the color in action and the texture. And because of my nerdy ways, I would like to share more about Jane Iredale and how she was definitely one of the pioneers in like the clean makeup movement in terms of developing products that not only performed as makeup but also had skincare benefits, right? So we'd love to get into that. But if you are a terracotta thought like I am, Cinnamon Girl, I'm just saying, you just take a look. Just take a look, maybe put it on your wish list. The Dolce & Gabbana Ever Icon palette. I actually do have a full-length video reviewing this palette, and I adore it. It's fantastic. It's solid. Many of you had come forward to say, this is a good palette. And I think Dolce & Gabbana delivered in the shadow textures, the hues, the feel, the experience, how easy it is to use. I mean, I couldn't ask for a softer shadow texture that just, again, provides a beautiful eye look in minutes without the fuss. You know what I mean? And got to mention the new Chanel Holiday 2025, not the 9-pan that I featured in my last video. Fantastic palette, by the way. The Nuit Astrale from their holiday collection with these beautiful cooler tones that oh my, I was not ready for the instant winter princess effect these shadows will provide. And I know they might not look much on the swatch. I get it. I understand your apprehension. Chanel shadows are meant to be built slowly, to give you the time to choose the intensity of the sparkle you wish to achieve, the color intensity you wish to achieve. But the hues are beautifully cool, in more ways than one. But I adore how I can use these shadows and they don't wash me out. They just give me, again, a different smoke haze effect without them necessarily being more like in the neutral browns, mauves, plums even, but definitely in the more gray scale area, more leaning towards that part of the spectrum. And listen, these are a fun time. I have a short using Nuit Astrale alongside the 31 Le Rouge lipstick in 01 Beige, or Rouge Beige, I believe, and the Ice Princess look I created in that short, I can't get enough of. I contemplated doing it for this video, but I just had so many favors on standby that I couldn't decide. And why don't I reveal? You're like, what's actually on your face? Why do you keep teasing us, Alicia? Well, Make Beauty was kind again enough to offer a PR opportunity on Shop My, and therefore was able to pick a few selects from their collection. And I was still, like Jane Iredale, want to film a dedicated video to Make Cosmetics, just looking into their brand philosophy and into their products individually. But what I have on the face is their Diffusion Dew. It is their Radiant Skin Tint. It is a hybrid product that's going to offer blurring, just diffusing with skincare benefits. But my gosh, this is a spectacularly developed complexion product, because I was in pursuit of a tint. For sure. I have the Gucci tint, the sample of. I didn't buy a full-sized tube yet. I also have my Lisa Eldridge tint, which I still adore. But this one has like almost like a stretchy type of a texture. And I know those have implications. That has implications. It's not tacky or sticky. It just is super flexible on the application. It does offer light, sheer to light coverage that can be built up, but it does appear skin-like in finish. It's natural. I know the word radiant might be for the oilier skin types, but if you are around dry to normal, or normal to dry, I should say, like myself, this is the perfect consistency. It's creamy, but again, it's fluid, it's stretchy. It just has a satisfactory lay down when applying it on the skin, and instantly blurs and evens out. And something that I like to reach for when I'm going to the gym, for instance. There are days where I just want my complexion to look together, that I want a little boost. I don't necessarily want to reach for a foundation, but I want something that's just going to pull my face together, and this is what the Make Diffusion Dew does. Now, I think I was off on the color selection. I chose Caramel 08. Honey 07 is actually what I probably should have chose, because that's described as medium tan, neutral undertones. This is medium tan with warm undertones. But having a little bit of that goldenness to my complexion is flattering. It does give me a boost. I'm not sure how this will carry me through the winter, but maybe I can contact Make and ask if they can send me honey just for comparison. And I know having 2 tubes of this product is overkill, but I love it so much that I know without a doubt that I will use them both, because I think the texture is fantastic. Also, briefly covering their Skin Mimetic concealer in 07 medium N. This is also on the warmer side, and definitely more of like a sheer concealer moment. It's not going to have the same coverage levels as my Gucci or my Burberry, just as a reference if you're wondering. But I do like the fact that it's lighter, in case you just wanted to use this product and not the Diffusion Dew or another complexion product to tackle the under eye discoloration and leave it at that. Because this is what happens if you use a concealer that's like medium coverage but don't apply anything else to the rest of your face. It looks odd and awkward, like it's there by itself. This, you could get away with that approach, I believe. And although it's still on the little bit of the golden side for me, it's tolerable. And as you see on the footage, it does leave behind more of a luminous finish under the eyes. So if you're not about that, you definitely have to follow up with powder, or just use an entirely different concealer that's more of like a soft matte self-setting texture. On the cheeks is the Make, let's see here, the Heat Stroke Dewy Blush. Reminds me of Pat McGrath's Color Balm blush sticks that released a few years ago. Yes, there is a warm light brown called Toasted, and I was hopping back and forth between should I get Spice, should I get Toasted? And you're like, why didn't you get both, Alicia? I read like the total allotment wrong. I could have chose Toasted as well, but I decided to go with Spice. It is the warm nude pink, and let me tell you, this is a great pink. You see how warm it is? It's like a rosy pink. And what I have here on the cheeks and what I used with Sonia's mini oval hybrid buffer, it's definitely on the dewy side, and Make does offer a soft matte blush stick option, but unfortunately the color availability is limited. It's like only 5 colorways, whereas a heat stroke dewy blush comes in like 12 or more. But this is a nice blush stick. Yes, it's on the dewier side and is slightly on the tackier side, but I think if you apply it either back of hand first as I did, or take it straight from the stick, you'll have an even lay down of coverage on your cheeks. If you tap it on your fingers, it won't appear as even, in my opinion. I think you have to prep the stick first, or even you're better off applying it straight on your cheek and following up with a brush. But I am pleased with the color, because as you see, it's not super pink that it appears washed out on my complexion. It gives off that natural flushed effect that goes well with other products. As you see, I went totally smoky on the eyes and the lips, but Spice manages to balance everything out in a way that doesn't look off-putting. And you're like, well, what do you got on the eyes, Alicia? Before I reveal that, on the cheekbones, have to say, because of the dewier finish of the Make blush stick, I decided to follow up with the Dior Backstage palette highlighters, because my skin was more than ideal in terms of nice creamy adherence to take on the slightly drier texture from the Backstage Glow palette. And just, you see what I'm saying? Perfect. I could even follow up with the Holiday, but I know, a little overdoing it. Nonsense. Maybe off camera. On the eyes, I had the pleasure of trying the Make Multichromatic Metal Reflecting Shadow in Fusion. This is your chocolate bronze shade with that metal metallic finish, and this texture is beautifully smooth and one that you can just apply all over the lid, as you see here in the footage. I tossed it on with my Sonia G Kiyaki eyeshadow brush, the Kiyaki Kakishibu eyeshadow brush specifically from the set, and it just had this beautiful movement on my lids that naturally appeared to fuse when blending the edges through my crease. I tossed it under the lash line, and I just love how my eyes look. And what I had wanted to achieve when seeing the color online and the color description, I'm like, yeah, I wanted this dark bronzy chocolate hue to be placed all over the eye, one and done, toss on some mascara or maybe slap on lashes like I did, and call it a day. I even followed up with the ultra sparkly shade from the Backstage palette and place it on my lid so I can have more twinkle here, because the multichromatic from Make Cosmetics is more like a metallic finish. If you want more of a sparkle dazzle effect, then you could go in the Backstage. You could follow up with something from Danessa's Freedom Palette series or from her Color Fix Stick duos. But not only did I apply the sparkly shade on the lid, I also followed up with, I think it was this shade on the inner corner for a highlight. So this is why the Backstage palette is goated, because you can double this, like it's a face palette in my opinion. You can hit the cheekbones or you can dazzle up the eyes if you want a little more from the shadow. But isn't this pretty? I love the tone. It's cool, but it's neutral cool, and you can still detect that chocolate brown hue. It is perfect. I had to pause because there's a truck parked outside, but we have to press on because I gotta call that too. Anyway, I was talking about eyeshadow. Make Cosmetics eyeshadow. Yes, I was gushing over the hue of it, the performance, and they are singles. Might be cumbersome if you want more than one, as I am contemplating, but I am quite happy with this one shade just because of its impact and how it automatically changes or contributes to the look in allowing me to give smoky eye with the least amount of work. And a few other PR mentions from Roost. Roost is a brand that's more mid-tier, and again, presenting makeup, skincare, hybrid options. The first product I requested was their Rich barrier cream, and what they like to market it as like the lightest, heaviest cream you'll ever use. But what was appealing about the packaging is that it had the press jar pump, which makes for nice hygienic removal of the cream. And I primarily use this for my hands and also my feet. I also use this for makeup prep. But what I found was, before applying any type of foundation, and this is specifically if I choose to apply it with my fingers, that the Verse Daily Barrier Cream could pill if I go in a little too finger swirl friendly. I did notice that the cream started to kind of flake off. So probably better if you followed up with a brush application for your foundation. But in terms of it just being solo moisturizer and what I chose sometimes to wear under my foundation, it is quite nice. It does feel rich, but it does feel lightweight at the same time, although I still detect that, like, yeah, it's giving cream for sure, but I enjoy the fact that it is fragrance free and no fuss, so that's why I continue to use it. But ideally I would use it again on my feet before bed, or if I needed a little extra moisture before foundation. And what I also showed was their multi serum skin tint SPF 40. This is in the shade, let's see here, N6. Okay, so here's the thing. I like the concept. The consistency is nice. It's probably a better match for me than the Diffusion Dew because it's not as golden warm. You just have to be careful because this was my mistake. I applied way too much. In my opinion, one full pump is too much. And the filter, the sun filter they use, sunscreen filter, is zinc oxide, which unfortunately if you apply too much of, you can smell it. Zinc oxide, I guess titanium dioxide has a similar scent. Kind of has like that chalky smell and could be avoided if you don't apply as much. But what I will say is that this is quite a lovely product if you nail the dose right. And if you're my complexion, N6 works because it's not super warm but not super neutral either, so it won't appear dull when I apply it on my face. And it does tackle unevenness, redness. It blurs my imperfections in a way that doesn't appear overly made up, and a fantastic product to reach for, again, for those days that I just needed a light kind of a tint moment. I place it in the same category as the Gucci Glow tint, as again the Make Cosmetics Diffusion Dew, but this has the SPF. As I expressed before, I don't care about the SPF because in order to get the full sun protection benefit from an SPF product, you will have to apply it in a way that is not favorable to complexion products like a skin tint. You would have to apply it in a manner that's quite heavy, and again, sunscreens that are developed just to be sunscreens are formulated to disappear and look invisible. Whereas with the skin tint like this, that's not what it could do. So you can't apply as much, but if you want that extra protection, sure, maybe if that's important to you, and it does have zinc, so I know the other filters can burn the eyes, or maybe you're sensitive to other filters like the Homo Salate or even the more advanced European Asian ones. Zinc oxide is okay, and it doesn't affect the color negatively in that it doesn't make it look chalky or whitish on my skin. But I still consider it like a mid-tier favorite because I have to figure out the application, the dose, but I do like the texture. I wish it was completely fragrance free because again, if you apply too much, you can kind of smell that zinc oxide chalk on your face throughout the day. But if I apply it lightly, I could avoid that. I gotta be honest, if I'm avoiding the sun, I'm just avoiding the sun, okay? I'll wear my sun hat, or I'll wear a cap, or I'll just wear sunscreen and not wear any type of a tint. or if I insist on wearing a sunscreen and a tint, I would still wear a hat or just avoid the sun, because when you apply something on top of your sunscreen, you're dismantling the film that needs to be intact in order for it to successfully protect your skin from the sun. So when you go on top of your sunscreen, you're basically moving the film around and you have holes in the shield, if you will. So that's not a great setup, and which is why I would rather take other measures to protect my face skin from sun exposure than rely on a sunscreen skin tint. Anyway, I do think it's a nice product, and my apologies for not demoing it on this video. If I don't capture footage for this specific video, I'll make sure to do so on a YouTube short. But looking through everything, I think that's it. I hope that's it. Hold on, let me quickly check my list. I have to get a new planner for 2026. I'm tossing back and forth if I want to get another Hobonichi, but don't know if I want to get an A5 or A6. Right now I have A5, and as much as I love the larger size, it gets a little tricky when I have to travel, because if I don't bring it, then I have to like backlog my entries, and that's a pain. But if it's the A6, I could bring it along for the ride, but I don't have as much space to kind of go all off. So I am deciding still which size I should purchase for next year, and maybe I can share that in the November favorites if I make a decision, for crying out loud. But that's it. I think on the end note for this video, the makeup selects have been insane. I can't tell you, the levels of enthusiasm I approach my makeup application with has been off the charts. I look forward to putting on my makeup. I'll just look for any excuse, actually. Yesterday, for instance, I had to film these reminders for a Stretch It app, an app I work for in teaching flexibility lessons on, and I also do a Saturday afternoon live, and the team sends me the topics and I'll shoot the reminders for those topics. I was excited just to put some makeup on to film these 30-second reminders. It wasn't long, it didn't require much, but I knew because of the tools and the makeup that I have, it would just be a blast to create something new for that day. Even for this look, my goodness, I had such a hard time deciding what makeup I wanted to select for the October favorite look, but happy to have come up with this arrangement, and we'll continue to use Make Cosmetics. For sure, we'll update you on those products, and again, would still like to film a video dedicated to those makeup items, so I could just do a deeper dive on the brand, their philosophy, and the products individually. But I think that's it. I think we're done. Let me know down below, family, what your favorites for October have been, and if you made it this far, make sure you like this video by clicking that thumbs up. It helps me immensely in letting the YouTube algorithm know that I'm worth watching and will now continue to watch, and will also now recommend my videos to other enthusiasts, beauty lifestyle enthusiasts such as yourself, to watch. And consider subscribing, because who knows, more videos are on the way, be it about jeans or laptop stands, who knows. And when you click that notification bell, you'll be alerted immediately when those uploads drop. If you're a returning subscriber, again, I thank you for the time and the watch, but if it's your first time here, please stay, peruse some more. Maybe I'll see you in this video here. I'll definitely see you down in the comments for this one, and on here again next time.